All that time spent in Cape Cod, I did not have a single lobster roll.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they were all closed for the season.
All the lobster places were closed?
A lot of the lobster places where Donna would say, this place is really great. Ugh, closed for the season. You'll have to come back. Yeah, I think that's why you didn't have your lobster roll.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Are you a cold lobster roll person or a warm lobster roll with butter?
I like the warm lobster roll.
Okay, did you
we're
just say
getting a
ew?
visceral reaction
Did you just
over
say
here in the
ew?
corner.
Ew. Expensive trash. That's what it is.
What?
Although I'm a little biased because I am allergic to shellfish, so I've never actually had a lobster roll, but it looks expensive trash. That's all I'll say.
Okay, that is one of those moments where
Hot
you
take.
cannot
Hot
judge
take.
a book by its cover, my friend. Lobster rolls are delicious.
They are. I would call them expensive non-trash.
Oh, just expensive.
Wait, so did you say cold or warm?
Warm.
Oh, I'm a warm lobster roll
Like the
person.
warm.
Oh, they're so good.
Although in the summertime, I mean, it just depends. I don't like a lot of mayo or whatever that stuff is they put on,
No.
the cold one.
Yuck. No mayo with lobster ever. You want just straight up butter on a nice toasted bun.
I had one in Los Angeles once. There was a company that was doing lobster rolls out of a food truck.
Yeah, they still do.
$35 for a lobster roll.
I had to see a loan officer, on my lunch break.
That's
Pretty
why
accurate.
it's trash.
That's why it's trash.
I don't disagree with you on that price. That makes it not as enjoyable.
And it's
How
like
about that?
four four pieces of lobster on like
It was an okay size sandwich.
Publix bun.
But yeah, it was about,
Yeah.
I think all in with the sandwich and whatever I ordered as a side, it was like $28.
good God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a place that Donna had mentioned that was open now that you were discussing it, and the lobster rolls were, how much a lobster roll, do you remember?
I don't remember, but it was more of a local place, right?
$50. The lobster roll was $50. Yeah.
For one.
Oh, yeah, for one. Oh, yeah. So if you want two, it's $100.
That's not the place I was thinking of.
What?
I thought she mentioned another place was more like a dive bar type thing, but the locals would go there and get their sandwiches.
Oh, maybe. I don't know, but you still didn't get one. You still didn't get one. Yeah.
then-
So, summer's coming.
Summer's coming.
You still have a
Get that
chance.
summer body ready with your lobster roll, Phil.
Yippee.
Today we're doing Cape Cod. Let's rock.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
Welcome back, All-Stars, to another edition of Skip Town All-Stars. Today, we have another extension of our Northeastern winter tour. I almost said summer tour.
Nope.
We are doing Cape Cod, Massachusetts today, and we have sitting next to me the world-famous Denise Trixie Gordon. How are you?
I'm doing well. Today we are going to talk about all things Cape Cod, but before we start, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. And if you're following us on Instagram, tell a friend, share the page, put it on your story. We love when you do that. Send me a message and tell me what you're liking about the clips we're putting up there. And if you're listening on your podcast, well, put it on when a friend is in the car. We always love to have more friends join in on the fun with us. So yes, with all that being said, today we are going to talk about our winter escapades in Cape Cod. Not even close to summer, because I don't think you remember, it snowed when we were there.
It did?
Yeah,
I do remember, actually.
It snowed. It snowed while we were in Cape Cod.
I have a lot
There
of
was-
icy memories of Cape Cod that
There
we'll
was
get into.
so much snow along our winter travel that I can't remember if it snowed in Cape Cod or was that an extension of Connecticut. Am I confusing? I know it rained. Was there snow?
There was a smattering of snow while we were there.
Yeah. So we were in Cape Cod during the off season, and I'm going to talk about how that happened. And before we do that, we're going to say hello to Phil.
Hello. You mentioned Sneak put it on your friends playlist, your podcast.
Yeah.
So this is a trick, it's a life hack. If you're ever in a group outing and you're going to take a bunch of photos for your friends and they give you their phone, go to the Apple's app and subscribe to the podcast to each person's phone.
I am doing
just
that.
do it, and you know they will do it anyway. But just do it for them and just say, "Hey, I put a gift on your phone for you." There you go.
Thank you, Phil. I'm just going to grab myself a few more downloads from
And
that hack.
subscribers.
Yes,
Yep.
and subscribers. So thank you.
That'll work for you. I don't ever take photos for people. Hardly ever. Strangers, maybe.
Oh, I'm doing
at a
it.
tourist site.
That's even better.
That is way better.
know.
And so they're going to get a notification out of nowhere about a podcast. So now you have to do it, but you have to be really quick.
I know.
Yeah.
And
I
I
don't
look like
know.
I'm going through their phone.
Where's the app? Where's the app?
I know. Like, where do you keep your podcast app?
Well, here's what I do. Okay, when people want to know about the show, and I tell them, "Oh, do you have an iPhone?" I'll show you right now on Apple Podcasts where it is. I immediately hit follow, and they have no idea, and then they're going to get the notification. But usually, if they're asking, they're interested. So what's wrong with a little follow?
Yeah, totally smooth move.
So how are you doing today?
Life is great. I want to know about Cape Cod because the only thing I actually know about Cape Cod is these chips.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing I know. Whenever I'm at
chips.
Wawa, I see these all on the end caps.
Yep.
Like, oh,
Yep. The expensive chips.
yeah. Are they even good?
They're delicious,
They're
actually.
so good.
They're really good.
Okay. So
I mean-
now I'm interested.
I don't know if I've tried the jalapeno flavor that you just showed on the screen. But the normal kettle corn ones are kettle corn. The normal kettle cooked
Yeah,
ones.
they're kettle cooked.
Yeah.
And
those are good.
we're salt and vinegar fans.
I love you guys. That is my favorite chip flavor ever.
It is?
Yes.
I don't really like that flavor.
Okay.
Get out.
You're
Stop.
salt and vinegar.
You know what? Shush.
I'm barbecue.
But
You're boring.
thank you. Cape Cod salt and vinegar, perfection, because not everyone gets a salt and vinegar right. Sometimes it's too salty, sometimes it's too vinegary. They make it perfection.
I have another confession. I have a salt and vinegar seasoning.
Do you put it on regular
Wow.
chips?
I put it on French fries.
That's dedication.
I put it on it
I bet it'd be
is
probably good on French fries. Yeah.
put it on rice.
rice.
It's so good.
Interesting.
On just rice.
What
I
about
have to think about that one.
you? Oh, we talked about this. You don't eat bagels
No, that's white people stuff. Sorry.
because there's a seasoning at Trader Joe's that's called everything but the bagel, and that's pretty dope.
And you put that on a lot of things.
I put that on toast and eggs and everything.
Yeah. All right, I'll have to try this salt and vinegar. You know, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna get it, bring it home, try it with the girls when they're coming for a visit because they're salt and vinegar fans too.
They are.
It's the best
girls
flavor.
are for sure.
French fries sound really good.
That does sound good.
Yeah.
I must confess. Yeah.
So,
that sounds good.
yeah. So, okay, Cape Cod. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Cape Cod. Cape Cod, first of all, is in the state of Massachusetts, if you didn't know, and it is considered the arm of the state. So, if you look at a map and you see that little area that is like, you know, jetting out and up, that is considered the Cape.
Yeah, the part where
Oh.
Massachusetts is pumping its bicep.
I get it. Okay.
That little stem that sticks out.
And they call it the Cape. So Cape Cod, but the Cape for short. And Cape Cod came to be from a listener named Donna. Donna found us through somebody named Amy Cotney, who is a real estate agent in Alabama. We ended up interviewing Amy. Amy has a huge following.
She does.
And she was kind enough to share us on her story more than once, share us on her feed. And Donna was one of her followers, and she started following us. And
We
got-
infected her.
we did. We did.
did.
And Donna is an interesting person because she is doing exactly what we are currently doing, but she's doing it solo. You know, her and her two dogs, but she's doing exactly the same thing. So Donna would send me DMs when we would hit a town and say, okay, tell me, like, really, what did you think? Because when I post on my Instagram, I usually will do something of the moment on my story, but then my feed may be a place we visited a couple weeks ago. So she would comment on my stories all the time and say, are you there right now? I want to know, how is it? Donna's a little different than James and I in that she likes a colder climate. So what she's looking for isn't necessarily what we're looking for with regards to weather, but she is doing exactly the same thing. She basically sold a lot of her things, other things she put in storage, and she is hitting the open road looking for a new hometown. She lived in the Cape, and she lived in an area called Chatham. So when Donna moved, she reached out to me and, like I said, followed our adventures and just kept in touch quite a bit.
Yeah.
And when we were heading back to Connecticut, I tried to meet up with her. But, not knowing the Northeast, I thought, oh, Massachusetts, it's so close to Connecticut. Well, I'll see her in an hour. No, she's 4 hours away from where we were in Guilford.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, really far. And you can usually get to everything on the Northeast pretty quickly, fairly easily, because they're all close together. But Massachusetts is big, and the Cape is even further. So she one time said, let's meet in the middle. And then I said to her, you know what? Why don't we just come visit you? I've never been to Cape Cod. I know James and I can't afford to live there, but it might be just a nice visit with a listener. So that's how Cape Cod started. And then one thing led to another, and guess what happened?
I know what happened. Go ahead, tell the story.
We ended up staying with her. Okay, yep. So Donna moved from the Cape, has been traveling for months, but went back and was staying in a friend's guest house. Well, in Cape Cod, a lot of guest houses are the size of most people's regular homes.
Whoa.
Yeah, and she was kind enough to invite us to stay in the guest house with her. And I was like, well, you're in a guest house. And she's like, yeah, but there is a second story, and it's a very large bedroom. She said, I'll send you a picture of it. There's a really good sized table in there. James can work. And I don't mind you spending your time here, because even though hotels are cheaper in the off season in the Cape, cheaper in the Cape is still, $300 a night. So she opened up her doors to us, which weren't even her doors. She was staying with somebody else, and they were kind enough to say, sure, they were out of town. All of that to say, we ended up staying with one of our listeners named Donna for about a week, and we had the best time. And when I started off the conversation with her about this, or she started off, I did say, okay, look, if this doesn't work out.
You gave her an out?
I did. I said, within 24 hours, we'll be in a hotel room. I did. I told her, I'm like, there's no pressure, nothing. There's no obligation whatsoever. We can bounce really easily. We're easy. If it's not working, it's not working.
If James drinks all your sodas and you want him out of the house, just let us know.
So what ended up happening was her poor children. So Donna has 2 adult children, and they were petrified. They were like, you're letting 2 strangers.
What?
Yeah.
Can you blame them?
They live in California, and they were like, Mom, what are you thinking? You're literally letting 2 strangers in your home to spend the night. I was thinking to myself, because, things go through your head. What if, she's crazy? And what if in the middle of the night I wake up and she's standing over me with a knife? And, her kids were thinking the same thing about us.
Yeah.
What if,
we were
so then y'all standing on each other's beds with knives.
Yeah.
We're just preparing.
I felt so bad for her children. I even when we got there, she FaceTimed her daughter or put her on speaker, and I was like, "Hi, I'm with your mom. I'm not going to kill her." That's usually the first sign that you're going to get killed.
Tonight,
right?
You should have said tonight.
Tonight, yeah. End it with yet.
I'm not going to kill her now.
No, well, I talked to Ellie on the phone. I don't know. I think it was a day before we left Connecticut. I just said, "Hey, goodbye. It was nice hanging out with you." All that other stuff, and she's like, "Okay, so where are you going next?" And I said, "Oh, we're going to Cape Cod, and we're going to stay with some lady that listens to the show." And she's like, "Random, but okay. Can I have $50?" So our children are decidedly different than Donna's children. So
yeah, you're right. Ellie was just like, "I need money," and her kids were like, "Mom, are you okay?"
Yeah.
So I think I had mentioned before that this trip was a little different in that we decided to stay with a few of our listeners on the road. And it made for so much more of an adventure. It really did. I don't know if I can ever go back to just you and I. Just adding people in the mix was really a cool dynamic.
It's so funny you say that, because I felt like we had such good luck.
We did.
That if we continue to push our luck, it's going to run out. You know what I'm saying, Phil?
I hear you there.
Our freewheeling, freestyling sort of road trip.
But I think the universe has acknowledged you guys as y'all are genuine people. So the universe isn't gonna do that to you.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at that. That's actually way more positive than you.
You guys put out tremendously positive energy, so I don't think the universe is gonna give you that.
thank you, but maybe for someone we would be too genuine, or for an opportunist,
But James,
they already know our soft spots.
You're a big dude. You can take him.
I can take them. I don't know, Phil. Not if I'm drugged. You know?
You think someone's going to roofie you?
Maybe. You never know. Just to get to you.
Oh, no.
But
They take
Denise,
me out of the
I'm
equation.
not
but you
That makes it
forgot
easy.
Denise can climb up their drapes, like she did that thing with the silk drapes, and she can
That's
just
right.
ninja kick them.
In Covington, she did that drape thing at the circus training.
I fight dirty. I'll break a bottle. I have no problem. I
She
fight
will.
dirty. Yeah.
She will for
Yeah,
sure.
she's from
I think
Chicago.
a lot of people don't realize that they are going to have way more of a wily time trying to take down Denise than they're going to have with me. So
So all that to say, it all ended up just fine. I mean, it all.
anyway, Dawn is awesome.
Donna is awesome. By the way, she's an amazing artist, and I left with a piece of artwork.
Yeah.
So anyway, Donna was great, and Donna showed us all of her Cape Cod, and we're going to get started on that. But I just wanted to tell everyone how it came about, and she was our first listener that we stayed with, and it was. She set the tone for all listeners.
She actually was. We technically stayed with her before we stayed with Bert and Jenna.
Yeah, it was really great. So Donna sold a home in Chatham, which is, I'm just going to describe it for you.
Chatham, Massachusetts, Chatham.
Wait, Cheatham?
Chatham is
Chatham?
how the average white boy I think would pronounce it,
That's how I kept saying it.
but it's Chatham because everybody's got an accent there.
And if you look at the Cape, it's actually located in the middle of the Cape. The location is amazing. It's literally in the middle of everywhere. But let me give you
The middle of everywhere.
I'm so sorry. Did I say the middle of everywhere?
think
Well, it
you
is
did.
kind of the middle of everywhere with regards to the Cape.
there
That's
a
what I
lighthouse?
actually meant. What?
Is there a lighthouse?
Yes, it's the Chatham Lighthouse. It's iconic.
Because it's on the bag of chips. So I
Yes.
just ordered a box of these, by the way.
There are
Okay, but we
He just ordered a box of those. He
you don't
literally.
waste any time.
So if you're listening to the podcast, Phil just threw up an image of the Cape Cod salt and vinegar potato chips, and he literally just ordered a box of them.
Oh my gosh, the studio pantry here is the devil to me. 'Cause I'm trying to go to the gym, and I walk in here, and I'm like, oh, those look like good snacks.
Yeah.
Because Phil's a connoisseur of good food, so
So there are good snacks here.
Yeah.
Now that will be one of them.
it is. It's just enticement everywhere.
So let me go back to.
Wait, I want to say something real quick though, and I think we have to explain this to everybody who's never been to this area. Cape Cod is not a town; it is more like Cape. A cape is like a geographical term, and that's where the arm sticks out. Like there are so many towns in Cape Cod.
Oh,
there
yes.
are tons and tons of towns. So it's more like a region. So when you asked if there was a lighthouse in Chatham, there is, but there are lighthouses all through Cape Cod in different towns.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So Chatham is just honestly one town of many on the Cape.
I think the Latin translation for Chatham is one of many.
Okay. One of many. We'll use that. We'll go with that.
All right, go ahead. Proceed.
So I want to give some stats because this will just, everyone listening, if you're watching, this will really put it in perspective, the Cape, and it'll set the tone. Okay, Massachusetts has 6.7 million people. Massachusetts as a state is really large. Boston, the city in Massachusetts, has 650,000 people.
Really, that's all?
Yeah.
That seems small to me because Boston, and I know you haven't been there yet still. Sorry about that. We went to Pittsburgh instead.
Yeah.
But
I can't have everything. If you listen to that
We
episode,
did have everything.
I didn't want to go to
Pittsburgh's
Boston.
awesome.
I'm making a joke of it. I didn't
know.
want to go to Boston.
I took you from.
I know.
I took you from a very busy town with a lot of polish. Not in every area, but let's face it. Boston's like one of the shining lights in America. To the nitty gritty city of Pittsburgh.
You did.
Yeah.
That
And
is
so-
very much you.
I know it totally is.
I'm
me.
surprised though. 650,000. I mean, that's like Orlando size.
It's not right.
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising, right? So, anyways, but you guys, Massachusetts is a large state. Anyway, okay, so they're scattered. Cape Cod has 228,000 residents that are full time, and I'm saying that for a reason.
Yeah.
On the off season, they are full time residents. during season, which is roughly May through, I don't know, if you ask a local, they'll tell you something different.
September,
May through
probably.
December. Because they have
December.
Christmas. Yeah, Christmas lights, the whole 9 yards. How many residents? So there's 228,000 full-time residents in the off season. During season, how many
people
residents do you
people
think?
Ooh, I'm good at this.
Go ahead.
Do,
ahead, Phil.
do.
450,000.
Stop right now. What do you say?
I don't know, sounds like Phil nailed it. So why am I even going to venture a guess?
Yeah, 500,000.
500,000.
It doubles. It literally doubles during season. So when people say it's packed here,
Yeah.
they're not kidding that it's packed here. I mean, Boston has 650,000. The Cape has 500,000.
Oh, okay.
So, and then Chatham, if you had to guess, you were not there, Phil, so you cannot guess.
Okay.
You were in Chatham.
I was.
How many residents live in Chatham?
Full-time year-round? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. I would say at most 20K.
6,500.
I wasn't even close.
Wow.
Not even.
I way overshot the
That
mark.
is how small Chatham is. Now this is where it gets really good. Average U.S. income is 74,580. So let's just round it up, 75,000. Average U.S. income.
Mm-hmm.
Cape Cod's average U.S. income.
Am I guessing?
Do you want to try?
Sure. Let's call it 160K.
Do you have a guess, my friend?
I was going to say it was going to be double the 75, so 150.
111,000.
Oh.
So you guys are both a little high. Chatham, their income, 6,000 people, 6,500. Their average income, $123,000.
Wow.
That's enormous. It's actually almost 124 because it's 123,803. So if that gives you any idea about the wealth in Chatham, that will paint the picture.
Chatham's not playing.
So Chatham is not playing, which is why Cape Cod wasn't even on our radar for a place. Can we live here? Because we know we can't. It's not even a question.
They get that chip money.
They have a lot more than chip money. Let me just tell you, they have hedge fund money. Okay, and there's old generations of wealth.
So is it like the Hamptons?
Yes. I haven't been to the Hamptons, but my guess is yes, except the Hamptons, if I'm going to guess here, and for you Hampton people, you can of course correct me, Hampton is a little bit more modern, my guess is, with the houses and architecture. The wealth is new money in a lot of the Hamptons. Chatham and Cape Cod, old money.
Yeah.
So, okay, and to continue with some facts.
Okay.
The lighthouse. Phil had mentioned it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the lighthouse is iconic in Chatham. It's the Chatham Lighthouse. And it was built in 1808. I have this fact that I have to read off. It's iconic to the town. It still operates 24 hours a day, and it's operated by the U.S. Coast Guard. Which state, this is so good, which state in the U.S. has the most lighthouses, if you had to guess?
The most lighthouses.
Maine.
I would say Maine as well.
Michigan.
What? Really?
There are 700 lighthouses all across America.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, around the Great Lakes, how many lighthouses would you say are in Michigan?
Out of that 700? Mm-hmm. I would say 200.
Phil,
49.
you were closer.
I was?
150.
150.
Yeah.
Okay, but I went over.
You did go over.
So
but
he
you,
gets the turtle wax.
$1.
Rice-A-Roni.
because you don't win when you go over.
You don't win when you
Yeah,
go over.
you're right. You win,
According
Phil.
to Bob Barker. Rest in peace.
So-
Phil is like, who is Bob Barker?
Oh,
What
come
are you
on, man.
talking about? What is
No.
rice-a-roni? What is turtle wax?
Bob Barker helped me grow up when I stayed home from school. What are you talking
Bob
about?
Barker raised you?
Yeah, dude. and the Young and the Restless.
Oh, yeah. I sent a meme to
You
our,
learned a lot about relationships on The Young and Restless,
Oh my
I
gosh,
bet.
yeah. I sent a meme to our children, and it's a little boy sitting on a couch, and he looks all sullen and everything, and it's like me when I went in too many times, when I went in and out too many times at Grandma's house, and now I have to sit and watch Young and Restless.
That intro, man.
Yeah.
So the lighthouses. Phil mentioned the lighthouse. It's iconic to Chatham. They have them all over the Cape, and then that is the lighthouse. That is one of many on the Cape, but the Chatham Lighthouse, the one that Phil is currently showing, if you're on YouTube, it's beautiful in person. It is. You can see why it's iconic, and the fact that it's still running 24 hours a day. It's very, very cool. So I painted the picture. Chatham is small. Chatham is expensive. Chatham is really pretty. And we were fortunate enough to stay there for a week with the best tour guide. So we're going to talk a little bit about downtown Chatham, because there is an actual downtown to Chatham, which is quite charming.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I want to mention, though, just since you're talking about the area being pretty and everything, the distinction, although it's New England and sometimes colonial or craftsman or all the whatever you want to name the houses, it is really interesting the difference between the houses in Connecticut to the houses in Newport, Rhode Island to the houses in Cape Cod. Cape Cod is distinctly its own thing. They have the siding is different. It's more that those wood shingle sidings.
Absolutely.
It just looks like its own thing.
There's a lot of windmills.
There are a lot of windmills, yeah.
Attached to houses, like on properties, like attached to the garage or attached to the guest house. It's gorgeous. It's everything that you would imagine it to be. So if you've ever looked through magazines with the New England lifestyle or, Cape Cod living, that's it. Like, we were there to see it firsthand, and it's exactly what your brain is conjuring if you've ever thought about what life in Cape Cod is like.
And it feels a little more rural than the other places we were, although it's
Agreed.
wooded and it's flat. Well, there are mountains there, I guess, but
mountains or hills?
Hills, at least, that are. I mean, we went hiking in a couple of different parks with Donna. So, and one of them, one was in a marsh that led right to the ocean, and the other one was on like small mountains. I guess they weren't exactly hills. Maybe they're hills, I guess, but. My point is, it's a very rustic, sort of rural, like a lot of country type roads, but they're all sort of leading in the same direction, which is toward the point of the arm,
Yes.
It's like you may only have 2 or 3 roads, main arteries in a given area. But then those side streets will have, like, the houses are not always on top of each other.
No.
That you do get a little more property, but it's strange because the houses aren't particularly huge, most of them. I mean, obviously the mansions are mansions, but the majority of the communities, you get these like 2 or 3 bedroom houses that are not egregiously, like they're not McMansion style houses.
You're right.
So
I was surprised by that. Like, I'm not sure what I was thinking when I went there. I did think it was going to be a little bit more summery. Does that make any sense? Like more beachy, more. I knew the Cape Cod style homes. I knew I was going to see that. So, but I didn't expect more rural. I did not expect property. Like, I just didn't expect that. I expected to see houses more on top of each other. So that was actually a really nice surprise when we got there.
It was so peaceful almost everywhere you went.
It was, except for the coyotes.
What?
We got coyotes.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are like smaller wolf dogs, right?
Yep.
Wolf dogs?
That's what they are. Because a wolf is gigantic.
Wolf is that.
And a dog is a dog. So a coyote is like in the middle, right?
They have like longer legs, right? Don't they have stick legs?
No, wolves have long legs. Coyotes have. He's right. It's a middle wolf dog.
Yeah,
he's
like
100% white. Wolves have very long legs.
But I thought coyotes have longer legs than a normal dog.
I don't know. Coyotes I saw look like dogs to me.
Okay.
Are they just as feral, or are they?
Yeah, coyotes are really feral. Yeah.
I mean, they're looking after small game. They're looking for Yorkies and cockapoos and rabbits and raccoons.
I think my ego and the fact that I love dogs, I think I could pet a wolf.
Don't try it. Do not try it. I do not recommend it.
You seen that video of that little girl, the bear, said, "Can I pet that dog?"
Oh, yeah. The little, I won't pet that dog.
This is the bear.
I would not recommend it.
That's me.
I don't know. Wolves are kind of scary.
Yeah, I saw a wolf live, like in person one time. Yeah.
You did? Where?
Yeah. It's the craziest
At the petting
thing.
zoo?
No. Nobody is going to believe me when I say this, which is why I don't ever tell the story. Someone had it on a leash.
Get.
Had it on a leash.
Were they white?
Where is this?
They
In
were.
Silver Lake?
San Diego.
San Diego? They had a wolf on a leash.
At a beach. I will never forget that. I was like, that's animal abuse.
Is it like
No, it was
a
real,
crossbreed, like German Shepherd meets a wolf kind of thing? It was like woof.
everyone was freaked out.
Oh, there's a wolf.
A wolf on a beach. Oh, wait, a wolf on a leash on the beach.
In San Diego, and
In
the
San
wolf was
Diego.
not happy to be there. I mean, he was walking along
hot,
the
right?
coastline
Right,
and
hot
the
as
water.
hell, yeah.
He was walking on the water along the coastline, like feet in the water, and it was not a good situation. Like people were freaking out.
And who is this person?
I don't
Let's
know.
talk
I didn't
about
know the person.
I know you don't know their name, but what did they look like? Tell me the
was a
character.
white guy.
The
It
character
was a
arc-
white guy.
Of course it was.
It was-
But was he like
No.
sleeves on both arms?
He looked like an accountant, and he had this wolf on a leash.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's savage right there. Like that's the guy you need to watch out for, because the tatted up heavy metal guy that saved a wolf in the woods is a nice person cosplaying,
Yeah.
cosplaying as a mean person, right?
Yeah.
But the guy in like the button down and the
Oh, God.
Docksider shoes.
Oh, God.
with a
Michael
wolf.
Douglas and falling down.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's creepy.
I'm still talking about it, and this was 20 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was the freakiest thing. And I remember saying to the person I was with, "This is not right. Like this is animal abuse."
Can I pet that dog?
I would not have said that, but if you were there, you would have. Oh my gosh.
Did anybody want to pet the wolf? Do you remember? Or
No.
was everybody
People were
"Get
like-
me out of here"?
People were
Oh
like,
my God,
you
women
know,
were grabbing their kids
yes,
and stuff like
yeah.
that.
I'm sorry if you're listening. I'm making a movement of like everyone
Here,
spread
I'll do
out.
sound effects.
Yeah,
like-
we do the Moses parting the Red Sea sound
Yes,
effect.
yes. Like where he walked was a circle around him. Nobody would go. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, back to the coyotes that we heard. It was quiet. It was
was.
quiet in Chatham.
Except for the coyotes at night. You're right.
Yes.
They got hungry. It was cold. Guys got to eat.
Do you remember the downtown area?
I do. I went through there a couple times, actually. I was chasing coffee, as I normally am. And, of course, because it was we were there during the off season, the local roaster, whose name I forget because I didn't get to go there, so we're not going to advertise for them anyway, they were closed. And there was a location called Chatham Perk that was not open there, but they had another one that I ended up going to quite frequently. I think I was there like 5 or 6 times throughout.
Okay, so back to my question.
I did see the downtown.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Yeah. I just had to work all those names in.
Okay, so I want to go back to what you said about the off season. All right. So we've learned that if you're gonna do Newport, you're gonna do the Cape, or where else did we go that was off season? I'm sure we hit another town that was off season during our travels. You want to go during the season, the on season. Okay.
It's just called the season.
The on season is from basically May, like I said, to December. But to really, when you go during season, it's like I said, there's 500,000 people. It doubles. Very hard to find parking. Crowded as heck. Can't get a reservation anywhere. Hotels are 800 to 1,000 a night in the Cape. So if you want to do it during season, which means more things will be open for you, like James's Coffee, pick like October, like after Labor Day. Everyone's back at school. Shops are still open. The 250,000 have gone back. You can have a beautiful time. All the restaurants are, taking
The
reservations.
trees are exploding with color, and you can get some apple cider.
Yes. So we learned that lesson the hard way. So we will be back to some of these places we visited, but we're just going to probably go in October.
Are we now?
I think we should. Like,
Okay.
shouldn't we be able to get a lobster roll?
It would be nice. Yeah.
But the downtown area of Chatham was really cute. It was, I did a live on my Instagram page for Skip Town All Stars. So if you really want to see it, it's on the feed. Just check it out. But I literally walked around with my camera going from store to store and just letting everyone see what it looks like in downtown Chatham. There's a beautiful church there. It's exactly what you think. There's a church in every downtown area along the Northeast, it seems. And, this was no exception. Beautiful church, beautiful steeple. And their downtown area is pretty vast. Some downtowns are only a block or 2 blocks. This is like
Wait,
almost
what'd you call that?
a block or
No,
two
no,
blocks.
what'd you say?
Vast.
No,
Yes.
you said what downtown? What is it?
The downtown area.
Oh, okay. I thought you said sundown towns. Like, those are bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said
Oh no, that's what we'll let you know when we get to the Tennessee episode.
Okay.
So,
the sundown town.
yeah, you don't know what that is?
I have no idea what you just said.
You don't know what a
I
sundown
thought you
town
said
is?
sundown towns.
You know what I said? I said some
Oh, okay.
downtowns.
Okay.
Some down. What now? What is a sundown town?
We are off on a thing now. Yeah.
What is a sundown town?
Phil? I
place I would
feel
not
like
be
I should
welcome.
give you the honors here.
A place where I would not be welcome after dark.
Oh, would we be
Where
welcome?
it's like legal. Y'all probably the ones doing it.
Oh, no.
I mean, not you,
Not
but
me.
you know
No.
what I mean. Not
Okay.
y'all, but.
I'm from a blue state. It's now a red state, but
Okay, so no, some downtowns
Okay.
are only 1 to 2 blocks in length.
sorry. It's still resonating with me.
So
It's good that we can, it's just dark subject matter, no pun intended, and it's good we can talk about these things. That's all. I love this that we have here.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to tell you, Chatham is not the sundown town.
It is not a sundown town. No.
But so their downtown range is about 2 miles long. So you really, if you wanted to walk it, it's beautiful. I enjoyed it. It's exactly what you think a Cape Cod downtown would look like. There are cute little local boutiques with like their Chatham sweatshirts. There's cute little gift stores with like pottery and those pictures of a fish and it says Chatham Cape Cod.
Does the fish talk and sing?
Oh, Billy Bass.
No idea what you're saying right now.
Oh,
No.
James knows.
I do know. I forget. It was a commercial,
Yeah,
right?
Billy Bass.
Is it a beer commercial?
But he was a real product, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think it was a beer Budweiser commercial.
No,
Yeah.
I am not familiar with that at all.
There was like there's kitschy, like goofy things. It was like a fish that, everybody has a fish plaque on the wall or whatever in these, seaport towns or whatever. And it's just, it's like a goofy little thing that it would play music if you made noise or something like that.
Okay.
And like the fish would sing.
No, there was none of that.
Would
There.
wiggle his head.
Chatham is sophisticated, so
It's very sophisticated.
this sounds like an Ohio thing.
It's probably, it's probably a Lake Erie type thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
none of that there. None of that.
No.
They are
I said it was
functioning.
distinct at the top of the show, honey.
They're functioning at a higher level in
What I meant
Chatham.
at distinct was I also meant discerning. So,
Okay. So Donna was the best tour guide and took us all around. And downtown Chatham, I kept saying to her, let's go to a movie theater because they have the cutest, it's called Orpheum. They have the cutest little movie theater that has like, I think 2 screens and shows 4 movies at 2 different times.
But they don't show movies in the winter. Nobody can have entertainment.
They actually do show movies in the winter, and Donna and I had planned on going to a movie every night, every day. We kept saying, tonight's the night. We're
Yeah.
going to go. It just didn't happen because the truth was, Donna kept us so busy that by the time the night rolled around, we were exhausted.
Yes. And it was cold. And those, the house where we were staying was like, it was comfy.
It was cozy.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to leave. I know.
Yeah.
Once we got in, it was like, oh, so cozy.
Yeah.
So one day we did something really fun. And I kind of made James put his money where his mouth is. James brags to everyone who will listen how he does these polar plunges all the time.
Really, I brag to everybody
You do.
who will listen.
Yes, you do. You're like, I do a polar plunge. You say it all the time. Well, he does a polar plunge at a resort in
It's
Mexico.
just a cold
in Mexico.
plunge. It's not a polar plunge. It's in a
Babe,
tank.
When people say I do polar plunges, you're like, I've done those too.
Do I sound like that? That's how I sound in your head.
That is how you sound.
That's
in
the
my head.
voice.
Did you get your Letterman jacket, your members only jacket for polar plunges?
Oh, he has to get one. We have to get him one.
I should have one by
Yeah.
now.
It
After
says-
the story you're about to hear, I should definitely have one.
So Donna, what I learned about Donna, and I did not know this, and well, the truth is I did know that she likes cold weather, and I did know that she takes cold dips because on her Instagram, she'll post a video or a photo of her, and she'll say, "Oh, I just did my morning plunge." I didn't realize it was an everyday thing for her. And I didn't realize that she does it in legit cold water. I just thought she just hops in the water when she's at a place that has a nice lake or, pond or whatever it is. Anyway, forget what I knew, because I knew nothing.
You thought it was a hobby and not a habit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And what did you learn?
It's a habit. She does it every single day almost. Yeah.
Yes, and it has changed her life. So Donna's a big believer in polar plunges, and she explained the whole thing to me. It's not just invigorating, but it's actually really good for your health, like emotionally, physically. It can balance you out if you're feeling imbalanced. I mean, she went on and on. I'm not interested in being cold every morning, so for me, it kind of fell on deaf ears. But for you, who's a polar plunge expert and does polar plunges all the time.
You nominated me. It's not like I like jumped at the chance.
Oh, you do polar plunges, babe.
You know, it's a little different when you're like drinking tequila all night in Cabo and you wake up the next morning and you just go into the spa there at the resort and you jump into the cold plunge. It kind of wakes you up, helps you, get the bats out and all that stuff. But no, this was a serious deal that Donna did. And I realized when we all piled into the car and went to
hike.
It was a park, right?
Yeah, so Donna took us for a hike that day, and she did say, if you'd like to afterward, we can do a polar plunge in the water. She said, I do polar plunges here all the time. It's really quite nice.
And Denise said James would love to.
I totally did.
Y'all crazy.
Uh-huh. Oh, you've never done a polar plunge?
Look at me.
This goes back to
why would I want to put my body through trauma every morning? You listed all these medical things.
Joints.
No, man,
because I
almost die. You know what doesn't kill you make you stronger? Is that their analogy? Like with the ice water? So. No, man, I ain't even getting in a river if it's warm or ocean if it's warm.
I'm with Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, we know you're with Phil because you were on the shore laughing as we finished our hike.
So let's tell everyone how this came about. So you go.
How this came about. We did the hike. And at the end of the hike, I started to get more and more nervous because you're right. It was time to put my money where my mouth was. And Donna was a great coach. Clearly, she does it all the time. I can't believe she does it by herself. I'd be afraid I would just die.
She's a trained coach on polar plunges. So she's like certified.
I know. And it's a good thing because I actually needed somebody to sort of talk me through it. And so naturally, the first time we did the polar plunge, it was in a lake. And I would say, I think she said that temperature of that water should have been around 38 degrees. Which is only 6 degrees above freezing, right?
Bro.
And so I waited out there all the way, and we both plopped down at the same time. My goal was to do, I think, what was my original goal? Maybe a minute, 2 minutes, something like that.
Your original goal was a minute.
My original goal was a minute.
Are you naked?
No, come on. We're with a listener, Phil. I want her to continue to listen to the show. Why would I get naked?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a requirement. White people love getting naked, so that's just what y'all do.
White people do get naked at all the wrong times. I guess I got to give them. That's your point.
He had his swim trunks on.
I had swimming trunks on. I actually wore a shirt too because I was like, oh my god.
And she had a one-piece bathing suit on.
Okay,
there you go. And so we went out there, we both plopped down, and the first thing I noticed walking out there was like my legs were fine, all that, but the end, like the bottoms of my feet felt like they were on fire.
Could you have frostbite, dog? That's what it is. You have frostbite.
I was like, oh my gosh, are my feet going to be like this the whole time? Because at first, the rest of my body can handle it. And so we submerged ourselves, and so as we're doing it, she's sort of talking through, and she's like, get control of your breathing, and just think about, how good it's going to feel in about a minute or so. It happens really fast. It's going to be over in a flash. You're not even going to know, all that stuff. And so she was great. In my head, I was kind of like, I bit off more than I could chew.
You're like, no.
More than I could chew with this. And so
I was having the best time watching it all go down.
2 minutes in the water. Okay, so I got to the 1 minute mark. And at that point, that's where like my finger, you've done enough activity in your life. You've stubbed your fingers or whatever on things. As we were sitting there and the cold was seeping into my body, I felt the time like I must have broken a knuckle in 7th grade playing football and all that. Like all those old injury marks, it felt like the cold was zeroing in on those.
You know what that is, right?
Spaces. What is that?
That's your soul slowly leaving your body. It leaves your body through your extremities. So that's why your feet started hurting, because like, oh, your soul's like, I gotta go here, gotta exit here, and then your fingers is gone, and then your head's gone, and that's how it works.
And so, oh my gosh, so it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, and but she talked me through it, and then right at the end, she said, "And here's what we're gonna do. Right at the end, we're gonna dunk our head completely." So I learned, and if you ever do decide to do this, Phil, which I know you probably won't, but if you ever do it, you save dunking your head for last, because if you do it right away, you're going to be freaking out probably the whole time, or at least freezing the whole time to the point where it's not enjoyable. So we dunked our heads at the last moment, and then we began the process of exiting the lake. And I felt really rickety. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't feel if I were stepping on stones or mud or anything. And by the time we got out, thank God Denise was there with the towel. But it took me a few minutes to recover, for sure. It took me like 5-10 minutes.
I got a picture of you.
Oh, you did?
There it is.
That's me.
That's you.
That was definitely
100%. Okay, so so I have to say, I don't know if you remember, because I know you were so in your head and I know you were nervous, but in the beginning, Donna really did this whole breathing exercise with you. You stood on the shore.
She did.
Your feet were barely touching the water. She was looking at you. She was talking you through it. And I have this all recorded, and I put a reel on my Instagram. It's a really great video just to see how she got him prepared for what was about to happen. And it was like really nice. Like but I know you were in your head and you probably weren't even listening.
Hey, she was like a doula.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you were about to give birth
to my soul.
Now, are you supposed to like slowly get in, or do you just jump?
You have to walk out to a point where your body can submerge. So your legs are like up to your knees or a little cold or whatever.
He was at a beach, so he was not on a pier, so they didn't jump. So they did have to walk.
Yeah. I think you're right.
To answer his question.
I thought I was answering his question.
No, like you did the
I
whole
didn't
thing
realize
that
he
you
meant
did.
jumping off the dock.
Yeah,
no,
he said, did you jump or did you walk?
I did not jump off the dock.
Okay. That was it. Yes
I
or no?
walked out.
And then when you got back, I had the towel waiting for you. I had Donna's towel waiting for her. For me, I think the hardest part would be walking on those cold, hard rocks when you get out of the water.
You can't even feel your feet. So it's like, I mean, my biggest fear was, am I going to like twist my ankle or something? Because I can't even tell. Like, I can't even, how, like, as you're walking, your little toes and everything balance you out and all that. I couldn't feel any of that.
How many toes do you have left?
I have all 10 toes left. Thank goodness.
How long did it take before you could feel your feet?
Probably before I could feel my hands and my feet, I would say it probably took me a good 10, 15 minutes that first time.
Now, when you got out of the water, just tell the listeners, did you change into warm clothes, like regular, because they weren't warm, but like they were not wet. But did you change into clothes? Because I can't remember. Did you change into clothes, or did you sit in your cold clothes in the warm car? How did you guys do that? I don't remember.
We did change before we got in. We did not get in the car with our wet clothes.
Okay.
So we changed, like she went into one corner, I went to the other, and we changed. But you're moving so slowly that it's just like the towel feels great.
It's hard to remove,
even though
isn't
you're
it?
standing in like 48-degree weather or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like the towel, like you don't want to move, and you're like, this towel is not going to keep me warm forever. But right now, it feels pretty damn good. So
yeah, I mean, the one thing I think I did forget to mention was that the weather outside was pretty chilly too. So it wasn't just a polar plunge because the water was cold, but the temperature outside was like 70. No, the temperature outside was probably high 40s, low 50s, so it was cold.
Yeah, it's weird because the water's colder than the air in most cases. I mean, I think definitely in the case where we went.
Yeah, it was.
And you get out, and all of a sudden it's like the air is what is like killing you and making it cold, which is weird because it's actually 10 degrees hotter or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay, so you liked it so much.
She did it the next morning. I did not. I took a break. And then I think it was the third or fourth morning we were there. She asked me, do you want to go again? There's a place and we can actually go in the ocean this time.
Yes.
And I didn't want to do it at all. But I I felt like, you know what, I can do it in the ocean. Like I should do that. And I have obviously her there with me to help me through it. And so this time around we drove out.
Wait, before you go any further.
Yeah.
How long were you in the lake? You never said how many minutes you
I did.
were there.
I thought I said I made it 2 minutes.
Did you? I'm so sorry.
Around the 1 minute mark is when I lost all contact with my fingers. But
with reality,
yes,
with reality.
But within 2 minutes, we dunked, and then at the 2 minute mark, I started to get out. That's right, I got out. She stayed in because she's OG.
Yeah,
and she was in for at least a minute or two longer than I was.
For anyone that is like, it's 2 minutes, just put your hands in cold water, freezing water with ice for 2 minutes. See how long you last.
Do a plank for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Would you do a polar plunge or a plank? What if you only? Which one would you do?
I don't think I can plank for 2 minutes. Like at the 1:15 mark, I get all jittery and I start falling.
I have a new TikTok challenge.
What is it?
Call it the ultimate extreme. So let's say we go to your polar plunge, right? You do your polar plunge, you come out of the water, but then now you're like, oh wait, I need to dry off or whatever. You immediately jump into a bonfire. That's how stupid it sounds, right? That's how dumb it sounds.
That is an awesome
I guess it
extreme
is at the other
challenge.
end of the spectrum.
Right?
Fire and ice challenge.
Yeah, just ignite your soul. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
Someone will come up with that. You know, someone's going to market that, right?
Or
They're going to
immediately
say,
walk on coals after that or something like that.
yeah, because they're going to market it because people market anything. Like, I mean, they're marketing cat poop coffee now. So,
dude, we can sell a course. Let's create. All right, this is the Skip Town All Stars Ultimate Extreme Body Challenge course. So you guys motivate your listeners, and we all meet to go do this challenge, right?
Yeah.
And after you do the polar plunge, you have to walk on coals, and then you've achieved your ultimate nirvana. The course only costs $17,000,
Right.
but imagine how much you could be missing if you don't pay this course.
You'll reach enlightenment.
Exactly.
You'll reach enlightenment. So let us help you get there.
So let's talk about this real quick because first off, if anybody listening to this show has ever listened to the Tony Robbins show, he preaches this, like he does this every single morning.
The polar plunge.
He goes out and jumps off a dock.
That guy eats glass, too.
Hardcore.
What did you say?
He looks like he eats glass.
He does. He's pretty. And his voice sounds like it too.
He's an alien, though.
He kind of is, right?
Yeah, Tony Robbins is a legit alien.
You think so?
100%. Not even trying to be funny.
What makes you say that, other than the polar plunge?
His face.
Okay.
His jawline.
I know.
He's like 7 foot tall.
He's
Is
kind of
he?
like
I don't know what he looks like.
Endgame. Avengers
He
Endgame.
looks like Thanos.
He does.
oh,
He
really?
does look like Thanos. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but
Tony Robbins,
there
you were
was,
talking about.
I was saying about Tony Robbins, but there, at least in 2022 and part of 2023, if you're a guy scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or whatever, you are bound to be bombarded by ads for all these sort of
Alpha male.
cold plunge tanks that you can buy and cold plunge bros that, you know, were doing this thing and they were preaching that as part of their motivational strategy.
All right. So you go to the ocean. How is it in the ocean?
In the ocean, we did the same thing where she gave me a little talk beforehand. How is it in the ocean? It's cold.
no.
It's cold. It's cold everywhere. Why are you looking at me like that while I'm telling the story? It's cold.
Do you know what the temperature was? I just want to know.
Like, I don't know, 39. It actually wasn't as cold as the lake, I don't think. Like, why'd you stop me? What did you think it was? It's cold.
Okay, go ahead, my friend. Are you gonna brag about polar plunges anymore?
I am right now because I ended up going, I'm going to spoil it. I did 4 minutes in the ocean.
How did you get yourself to stay for 4 minutes? I have to
just-
ask you, what place did you go in your head?
I mean, look, Donna's like, she got her phone with a timer. And when I first caught a glimpse of it, we were only at like a minute 20 or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never hitting 4 minutes. But ultimately, like, once everything got to a point of freezing, that was as cold as it was going to get. So once I handled it, my feet went away again. My fingers went away again.
Where does your mind go?
I would say around minute 3, I was definitely talking to myself, like every gym, like class at the gym that I've ever taken where the instructor goes, it's only 30 seconds. You can do anything for 30 seconds. That's what I was saying to myself. At 60 seconds, at 40 seconds, at 30 seconds, 20, 10, 5, or whatever. And so when we finally dunked our heads, I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. But I was way more rigid getting out of the water, obviously at 4 minutes. And I didn't have you there waiting for me with the towel and all that other stuff.
I did not go with you on this one. I was cozy in the bed.
You were.
But was she talking you through it? Like, was
Absolutely.
was it like trying to get your mind off of it? Was she asking you questions, or was it really a dedicated conversation about trying to stay focused? What did she do for those 4 minutes?
It was about focusing on, it wasn't preachy in the way like you're doing this to help your joints or you're doing this for your blood flow. It was just like, this is what it is. This is what you're doing. It's like it was focused for the sake of being focused to be able to handle it.
Okay.
It wasn't a talk to take my mind off of things, although when she spoke to me, it did take my mind away from my suffering for those moments. But in the end, it was, okay, so here's the weird phenomenon. So anybody who's ever experienced a hot flash knows how the heat sort of like waves across your body from, head to toe or whatever order it happens in. I would say probably a half an hour to an hour after we got back to the house, and obviously I'm warm at this point and everything is fine and I survived. I had like cold flashes, but in a way where it was like, it felt soothing across my entire body. It was weird. It happened like 2 or 3 times.
Did you tell
it was just like, it was like my organs were pushing the cold out or something. It was weird. It was the weirdest feeling. Yeah, I think I told her about it.
I wonder if that's normal.
I don't know. Yeah, but it felt really good.
It was your soul.
I think it was my soul re-entering my body, actually. Yep. That's why it felt good.
Yeah.
So?
Would I do it again?
Are you sold?
Am I sold? It's hard for me doing it twice to say, yes, there are great health benefits or this is complete garbage or whatever. I think there is something to it. I don't think that all of the Instagram ads that are pimping this thing and like trying to sell devices and all that are actually in tune with what it can actually do for your body. But I do think there is sort of a restorative or at the very least, it's meditative, right?
Oh, okay.
And so for you to
because you are thinking about nothing else but in those 4 minutes, but getting the hell out of there.
I was not thinking about I have to work. I got to get an episode for Skip Town All Stars out this day. I need the car needs gas. None of that stuff was in my brain. So in that regard, it was like 4 minutes of just absolute, freezingness and nothingness. So
I know, we making fun and all that, but like I think it does have some positive qualities because I was in South America and I took some they didn't have hot water, so I took a bunch of cold showers.
Yeah.
And that literally like woke me up. Like I was like, yes, I'm ready to not be miserable here in South America.
Yeah. I will
say.
Did
you feel more energized throughout those 2 days?
I
you
actually
notice
did because I only like that week I only went to the gym like one time, I think, or maybe twice at the most. And that's one of the advantages that Donna says that she enjoys is that she doesn't feel like if she does that habitually, religiously, she doesn't feel like she has to work out per se, and she's fit. So it's like the proof is in the pudding.
Okay, but let's be realistic here. Donna walks 4.5 miles, 5 miles a day. So she can say she doesn't have to go to the gym because she really doesn't have to go to the gym.
Right.
She doesn't have a car?
She does, but she likes to walk her dogs really far.
Is that why you're asking if she hikes every day?
Going to because going to the grocery store can be a hike for some people.
Yeah. But I do want to mention the cold shower thing that you discussed. So Donna and I actually talked about this, and she says, believe it or not, the cold plunge is easier than taking a cold shower.
She did say that.
Yeah.
Is it because your whole body is submerged?
She said a cold shower feels like ice picks hitting your skin. She said that's not how a cold plunge is. She said that she's taken cold showers, but she's like, it's not the same, and I don't recommend it as an alternative to a polar plunge because it just feels like, again, icicles or ice picks just hitting your body.
I'm getting chills literally right now.
Okay, so the one thing I could say, and we should wrap up the cold plunge talk, but the one thing I will say is if nothing else, I'm wasting a lot less water at our house waiting for the water to get warm before I take a shower. So I will literally just like come back from the gym or do whatever I'm doing, and I get in, And if the water gets warm, it gets warm. And if I'm in a hurry and it doesn't, I'm out. So
something good came of it. Not just did you feel focused and for 4 minutes and meditative.
I'm saving the planet.
Well, our water bill is going to be less. That's what I was getting at.
Oh, yeah, that too. So that's it. That's a wrap on the polar plunge. Would I do it again? I actually would.
Okay.
I don't know if I could be an everydayer like Donna is. Like, I give her a lot of respect. And I know she's worked up to it over the years and everything. But
Skydive or polar plunge?
Well, I want to skydive. So
Neither.
I would probably do both.
I need a list of WPS.
I will skydive into a frozen lake.
And just see if
How's
you do
that?
it.
Okay, you wouldn't. So skydiving is just a white person thing?
Majority, but yeah.
I've never seen a black skydiver, so I guess he's got a point.
You never have?
Have you?
I don't know. I work. Yeah.
You've seen a black skydiver? Where?
Well, I've never been skydiving, so no.
But even like on these extreme shows that we see people doing crazy stuff, and there's skydivers, I've never seen a black one.
I don't know. There are Army Rangers who have to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but they're
All
doing it
sorts
because
of
that's their job.
Oh. Okay.
It's different when you're Travis Pastrana and you jump out of a plane without a parachute and have to catch it.
That's insane.
That's WPS.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I would do both. Actually, I've done one, and I would do the other. And I don't know. You know,
Take a wolf on a
walk.
walk.
Could you skydive into a frozen, like a cold ocean?
And take it. Yeah, I heard you say it. Take a wolf on a walk.
Yeah, I missed that.
Okay, so all right, let's talk about this a little bit. This is actually a really interesting fact about Chatham. Their lighthouse, I said this already, operated by the U.S. Coast Guard. Mm-hmm. But there was a movie filmed about a story that took place in Chatham with the U.S. Coast Guard called The Finest Hour. And it was with Chris Pine and Eric Bana. And
I did not even know it was a movie until the two of you wanted to watch it. Yeah,
I know. So when Donna was taking me over to the lighthouse, it happens to be on the property of the U.S. Coast Guard. And there is a boat that is like in the front of the building that shows you basically, it's just a display like what the boats look like when they're going out into the ocean to save people. And Donna said, oh, that might be the boat from the movie The Finest Hour. I'm a movie person. I pride myself on movies. And I'm like, I've never heard of this movie. So immediately right there, I had to go to IMDb because I'm like, how does she know a movie I don't know? Like, how is that possible? Because I've seen almost every movie. And so I'm like, Finest Hour? I've never seen this movie. Where was I? How could this have come out?
It is pretty rare. I mean, I say when we go to Vudu to find a movie together, you've seen at least 12 of the new movies.
Yeah. So anyway, that night I made Donna sit with me because she had already seen the movie and she saw it at the Chatham movie theater. Mm-hmm. And I made her sit with both of us and watch this movie called The Finest Hour. And it was really, really good. It was a story about the U.S. Coast Guard back in like 1940 something having to rescue a oil tanker that was in distress and actually was sinking, and there were 70 or something like that crewmen. It was
like 48.
Was it? Okay, it was
something
48.
Like
crewmen on board that were going to die, literally going to die. And this little boat only holds 20 people at the most.
12.
Oh, God, I'm getting all the numbers wrong. But you should just let me go with it because it sounds still good. 20, 75,
your
it's
version
still
sounds
good.
way better. 70 people on a 12 person. I think it was 12 people who were supposed to fit on the boat, and ultimately it was 48.
Yeah. So anyway, so this movie is about this story, and it's okay. So I had to look it up after the movie because that's just always what I do. If the movie says it's true, I need to see how true it is. Oh my God, there were so many newspaper articles. The men on the boat that were saved, that on the oil tanker that was going to go down. There was interviews upon interviews. Some of them were on the news. So this story was really quite factual as to what happened and how this one high lieutenant in the U.S. Coast Guard sent these 3 men off to their death, literally sent them in a storm off to their death to try to rescue 43 men that could only fit on a 12-person boat. It was unbelievable, this story. And it happened at Chatham with the U.S. Coast Guard there, like their Coast Guard. It's pretty incredible. And the boat now, they still have the boat. It's not in Chatham. It's actually in Orleans, which is on the Cape. Donna said at the movie premiere they had the boat like outside.
Nice.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, but the boat in front of the U.S. Coast Guard is not that boat. It's just a boat. But yeah, so you liked the movie. What did you think of it?
I did like the movie. Phil, if you're going to watch the movie, you definitely have to, like the scene, you're going to be blown away by the scene where they're pulling this little rescue boat up to, first off, the oil tanker is ripped in half. So the back half of the boat is sort of floating around, and whoever's remaining on that half of the boat is still alive. And they're trying all these things to kind of keep the thing afloat for as long as possible so that maybe somebody could reach them and find them to rescue them. But the waters are so turbulent as this little rescue boat is coming up on this. I keep hitting my mic, sorry, because I'm making motions in the air. The little rescue boat is trying to
with the waves,
and these dudes are just jumping off of
the tanker.
It's insane, and they're trying to catch them on this little boat.
Oh my god!
And they would fall in the water, and then a bunch of them would sort of chain their arms together and pull the guy up on the boat. It was nuts. So I know it was a Hollywood dramatization, but to actually hear the numbers of people that they pulled off of this thing and rescued,
it's unbelievable.
And the little boat, I think it was like, I mean, it probably wasn't a totally true to life moment, how they pull the boat up or whatever, but just the way they filmed it and everything, it looked like you could totally see it. It was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
I would watch it again. It was so good. It was so riveting. I mean, we're watching, we're like, oh, and then we're sitting in Chatham. We're sitting in Chatham watching a story about Chatham.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Yeah.
It was good. It was a good movie. I liked
yeah.
it. Let's talk about, real quick though, some of the other towns there on the Cape. We actually drove one day to Provincetown.
We did. Do you know where it is?
It's like right at the, it's at
the end of the world.
It's at the end of the world? It's not though.
I say it's at the end.
We looked it up.
No, it is at the end.
Wait,
It's
what?
at
the end of Massachusetts.
What do you mean, end of the world?
Well, look.
Don't scare me here.
This is like turning into the Pirates of the Caribbean for you.
Y'all know a secret?
So
it's at the end. It's literally, if you take a step off of Provincetown Beach, that's it. You're not in America. You're like literally, you just, I mean, it's like any beach on a coastal.
Exit the Matrix or something?
No, you just like, you're no longer like, it's the end of, I say it's the end of the United States because it's the, isn't it the farthest point out of the United States? It's
actually not. I looked it up. It's a
the
place
Key
in
West.
Maine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a place in Maine that like right up near Canada.
That's the farthest point out.
Yeah, because the coast keeps like sort of circling around. So there are parts of Maine that stick out further than Provincetown. But it's definitely the easternmost point in Massachusetts.
When the kids were like, where are you? I'm like, we're at the end of the world. And I kept saying the end of the world. And what I meant is like, we're at the end of the United States. But yes, you're right. You know, it's the tip of the arm.
It is. It's a tip. So if, Massachusetts is making its, pumping its little bicep on the very bottom there, it's basically where the wrist is, So Provincetown was cool. We went through a main thoroughfare there. Turns out, did you know before we got there that Provincetown is sort of like Boys Town?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
A big hub for the LGBTQ community.
Oh, so my initial thoughts were correct when you said Boys Town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lot of really pretty flower beds, really well-maintained houses, like West Elm furniture out in the like front area of the porch. Like, none of this Target lawn furniture stuff. No.
Way more compact than Chatham.
I can't even imagine what it's like during season. We were, again, off season.
Yeah.
There's one, was it one lane going one way? It had to be a one way because
and there was a separate lane going out the other way. Yeah.
There was no, because the cars are all parked along this road, and it's just one car. Compact is an understatement.
Yeah.
A legitimate understatement.
It's got to be like a party hub in the summers, right? Like,
not the summers. We were there, and there were people everywhere.
Yeah, it was pretty busy when we were there. And then the property there, though, like, remember those little cottages that we saw that were like
$400,000?
Yeah.
No, I did a
for
short.
Like 600 square feet or something like that. What?
I did a short on YouTube, and it's us driving along the coastline of Provincetown. And they look like, I'm not lying when I say this, if you've ever been to a beach town, and some beaches have the little area where you can go to the bathroom and change. So they have like a little changing room or a little like one stall bathroom. That's how big these houses looked. So I did a short where I'm taking the camera and we're in the car and I'm driving and I'm filming all these houses upon houses upon houses. And I say, want to live in Provincetown? Good luck, because it's $400,000 for one of these little
tiny homes.
600 square feet, maybe $400,000.
They're small. They look like big bad wolf would come along and just blow them down.
Wow. For how much you say? How much you say again?
I think they were $350.
Oh my gosh.
They're expensive. Yeah. So we hit a winery on the way back.
We did.
Truro Winery.
Yeah, that's a horrible name. You can't even pronounce it. Truro.
Churro? Like a churro?
It's not
Truro, no, it's Truro, honey. I believe it's a family name.
Oh.
You're like,
oh, it's a family name. Okay,
you're attacking someone's family name right now.
Who would name a winery churro, which is a T, and you can't even pronounce it?
Truro.
The wine was excellent, but the
Trujillo?
Trujillo.
See?
Danny Trejo.
He can't
How
even
is it
pronounce
spelled,
it.
though?
Truro.
Churro.
Truro. I think it's an Italian name. It makes sense. It's a winery.
Truro.
Yeah.
I don't know. They always say when you're starting a business, make it easy for your customer to pronounce your name. That is not easy.
They did not always say that. It used to be whatever your name was, that was the name of your business.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Back in the day. So I think the winery's been around quite some time, and they're doing a killer business. We were there on the rainiest day, and the entire inside was packed.
It was. Okay, so they have a really great business model, and that is basically like you can sample whatever you want. You can share your samples with your friends. You get 5 samples for like $15. I have never heard of that. I've been to plenty of wineries, even though I'm not a wine drinker. I've gone with you, and usually a flight of wine is like, how much is usually
$25-$40
for how many glasses?
4.
Okay, and they're tiny pours, and it's just for you.
Yeah.
But no, here you could get 5 pours. They were really hefty, and anyone could have one. It was incredible. There were no rules. Like, I don't know. Seems like wherever we go, there's lots of rules, and there were no rules here.
There weren't as many rules here. In fact, there's a whiskey company that they work with, and I actually had 2 of my pours were whiskey.
For $15.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think so. Something like that.
Okay, how was it?
It was good. I mean, I forget, honestly, the name of the place, which is okay. But if you check out Truro Wines, find them on Google or whatever, I'm sure that they have their partnership with the company announced. It was great. It was a good time.
I'm not a wine drinker, and I actually thought the wine was really good. I was like, oh my gosh, because it was more fruity.
It was fruity.
Yes.
That's how
You're not a wine drinker? You're not a coffee drinker? What do you...
No.
I like soda. I'm a soda drinker.
What kind of soda?
Pepsi.
Okay. You like the wild cherry Pepsi?
No, I'm just with real sugar, or Mexican Coke with real sugar. Those are my drinks of choice.
She's a vodka girl when she drinks.
Yeah, but I don't drink. Look, my parents owned a bar, so I saw the downside of that. So I've never been a drinker.
I get it. That makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah. I know I don't do much.
You don't.
I always say, like, I have so much energy like this. I don't need any more. Like, I don't need coffee. I don't need a drug. Like, I'm already shooting at RPM 1,000 on a Tuesday.
She is. She's usually like, wind her up and let her go all day.
Are you like
long.
this when you wake up? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just...
No,
It usually
she's
takes
slow
me-
to ramp up.
Okay.
Yeah, it usually takes me about an hour to ramp up.
Is it like that now because you're a little older? I don't mean you're old. I just
no.
mean you're just a little older.
No.
I've always been like that.
Yeah.
I've always been slow to ramp up. It's just how I'm a night owl. So the mornings are difficult for me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think we text each other at like midnight.
We do.
We're like having a
Because I know
group
he'll be awake. Like one time I said, I was going to text you, but it was too late. And you said, what time was it? I was like 10. You're like, I'm up till like 1 or 2. And I'm like, oh God. So I take advantage of that now and I'll text Phil. Like, hey, I have a show
So is that
idea.
why you don't answer my texts at 7:30 in the morning?
Oh yeah, he's sleeping.
I probably just got in a fight with Dom, so I'm probably in the other room.
So yeah, I've always been a night owl. Oh my gosh, my whole life. And there was only like a short time in my life where I wasn't a night owl. I used to CrossFit and I did it for 3 years. So I would go to bed very early. I'd go to bed at 10 o'clock. And that's early for me. And then I'd get up early. I'd get up like 7. So I still need like 8 or 9 hours. So, but usually my sweet spot is I'm in bed by midnight or 1, and then I'm up at like 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and it does take me about an hour to ramp up to this level.
To this level. And by 10 p.m., she's hitting on all cylinders, right, as I'm ready to go to bed.
No, I've had my second wind. I've been hitting on all
that's your second
cylinders
wind.
all day. Usually I have a little lull at like 4. I do get tired around 4. And then I'm back at it. I don't
The
know.
minute the sun sets.
Yeah, when the sun's, I'm like a vampire. Yeah,
Explains the white skin.
white skin, I know. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of white skin, speaking of white on white, let's talk about the Kennedys, shall we?
Let's do it. That's a great segue.
I know. So we had the privilege to go to Hyannisport for the day, broke away for a little bit. And
If you know anything about the Kennedys, you know they have a compound in Hyannisport, Massachusetts, which is on the Cape. And we had to see it firsthand.
When
Who
you
lives in
say
the
compound, that
It's a compound.
for some reason it sounds negative.
it does.
But
Compound has a.
They've
a
called
negative-
it, but they've called it the compound for years because it's so massive and it's surrounded by a wall and it's, acres.
Jail.
Oh, well, no, it looks like the White House. You want to know the truth?
I think
it
you would
literally
only
looks like the
consider
White
it a
House.
jail if you were a Kennedy kid.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It sits on the water.
That's where they manufactured the Kennedys.
It
They
is.
do that
At one
absolutely.
time.
Yes, yes.
I think the
yes.
factory is closed now, right? Is it who lives in the compound now? Just grandma or something like that?
Is there a grandma? There is a grandma somewhere.
There's
There is
gotta be a grandma.
Yeah, I think. Maybe some. There's always a son that didn't get a job. There's always a son that didn't get a job that's still living there.
There is.
Is it RFK Jr.?
Well, he's running for
Is he
president.
still running
right
for
now.
president?
Yeah, he's still in the.
Okay.
He's still.
What was his job though?
He's still using air quotes in the race.
What was his job though?
I don't know. Being a Kennedy, I'm not
See,
sure.
that's what I mean. There are some kids who didn't have a job.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all trust fund babies now, right? So what do they do?
Yeah.
Is Maria Shriver though is a Kennedy, right?
She always had a job. She was a journalist
I
from
know,
the
but,
very beginning.
but she is a Kennedy. So why is her last name Shriver?
Oh, her mother was a Kennedy, Ethel.
Oh.
And so, or no, Eunice. Wait, Ethel was mom. Eunice, I think, is her mother. So Eunice was a Kennedy. So
Okay, got it.
I think it's Eunice
So
Kennedy
she's
Shriver.
because that was her dad's
Yeah,
name.
her
Got it.
dad, was a Shriver.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I said, I lose track of all of them. I remember Ted Kennedy, who served in the Senate and ran against Bill Clinton and lost in the Democratic primary way back when. You and I are too young to know, like we know of JFK just like you do, and Robert F. Kennedy. But then all the like JFK Jr., it just, I don't know, it just seemed like he was in the Inquirer all the time to me. I don't know what he did. Was
So-
he a hedge fund guy?
No, he owned George Magazine.
Oh,
So-
but not.
He
Like
was
that
a
was
he was a trust
later.
he was a trust fund kid for sure.
Okay.
But he did go to college and all of that, and
Right.
he didn't do anything in politics.
He
but
died in a plane crash, right?
He did.
did.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
with his lady friend, right? Or were they
Wife
married?
Carolyn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wife. Yeah.
Mm.
So the Kennedy compound, I believe, look, I'm not sure on the 100% history of the Kennedy compound, so I'm not going to really go there, but I'm going to say a little bit about the fact that I believe it was like for the grandparents, and
Mm-hmm.
then just it would be a gathering place for the Kennedys. I know that it was a gathering place for the Kennedys during the summer. So because it's right on the water, Hyannis, like where this house is,
Yeah.
you can walk outside the door, and
Right on
they
the
are
beach.
they are known to have been walking. Like people, if you read about them or any local stories are always like, oh, they were at the beach, like
Yeah.
they all had a boat, like everyone was boating all the time, and
Yeah.
their house, where it's situated, is right by the docks. Remember the boat,
Yeah.
the marina.
Totally.
We got so lucky. So you can actually put in the Kennedy compound in your Waze or in Apple Maps. It will take you right to the house. We got so lucky. The gates were open when we went there, so we could see the inside of their property.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Like, I took a video of it. I haven't posted it because it didn't translate well. It just didn't. Like, the opening of the driveway looked small. The house looked tiny.
Yeah.
But to see it in person, I played it over and over for Donna, and I kept saying, look, it's better in this
You
video.
need better lenses for sure. But
It didn't do it justice.
that the human eye could do in that moment.
There's
yeah.
a huge flag. It is like honestly the size of the flag in front of the White House in DC, right in the middle of their property. So you can see the flag, obviously, but when the property gates are open, you can see the circle driveway, the flag in the middle of the circle driveway. The house has the pillars just like the White House. It's insane.
And there's a JFK museum right there in town.
There is.
And it was closed.
It was.
So we didn't get to go there. But there's a great statue of him outside, and it was a great photo opportunity. So
we took it.
We have a couple photos of those we're going to show you.
I did ask a local business person. She worked in the business, didn't necessarily own it, but we went to a local shop, and we bought quite a few things. And I asked her, I said, she was an older woman. It was really funny because I always get an idea of the area or the person before I even ask the questions. Like I survey the area. So I'm in the shop. She's a little older than me. So I know, I'm going to ask her if she's a local. She's going to tell me she's lived here for 40, 50 years. And then I'm going to ask her about the Kennedys. So I start slow. I know where I'm going with this. I'm going to ask about the Kennedys. So I do. I ask her about the Kennedys and I say, what's it like? Because she's born and raised in Hyannisport. And I said, what's it like living here with the Kennedys? Press. There's always press. We saw the JFK sign, the RFK signs for his presidency around town a little bit, not a lot. And she was very much like what you would expect. She's like, who cares about the Kennedys?
They're like the neighbors everybody's sick of hearing about. What are their problems now?
I was like, okay. I'm like, well, I did say to her, they are a big part of this town. She's like, they're just entitled. Who cares about them? And then I said, well, what about the press? RFK's running for president. There must be press around here. Yeah. And she was like, nobody even pays attention anymore.
Well, I don't disagree with her in the case of RFK Jr.'s campaign. I mean, we do know a couple people that are going to vote for him strictly because they have a firm third-party candidate, whoever the third party is. They hate the two-party system. They're willing to vote for him. I get that. But for the most part, everybody's like, I didn't even know there was an RFK Jr.
Okay, well, let's be honest. A year ago. The entire Kennedy clan, excluding RFK, took a photo with Biden a month ago on the White House steps.
He wasn't invited?
Oh, you did not know? Have you not been watching the news? Oh, the Kennedys came out and were like, yeah, we're not. Biden is our choice. His own family. It's like Succession. Wow. It's like HBO's Succession.
Yeah, he's the Connor.
Yeah, he is the Connor.
Conrad, whatever the character's name. Connor, right?
Yeah. So the entire Kennedy clan, there's I think 85,000 of them, and Biden's in the middle of the photo.
That's awesome.
Biden's probably like, who are you?
That's when you know you're the black sheep of the family, when you're running for president and your entire family takes a photo
with the opponent.
Opposing candidate.
Oh, yeah, that's oof.
Yeah.
But Hyannisport is not what you would expect. So we've gone to towns where I've said to you over and over again, it's exactly what you're expecting. Hyannisport is not. You think Kennedys, you think money, you think pretty. That is not Hyannisport at all. Where they live is pretty. The houses they live near is pretty. That area they live in is pretty. But leading up to it, it is just strip mall heaven. It's strip mall heaven in Cape Cod. Those two words don't belong to get in the same sentence.
Leading into it. And then the town itself, I mean, it feels...
It's run down.
It feels a little like the harbor town that's sort of rough and tumble, yeah.
Not what you would expect.
It was not what I expected, no. I was expected something more... I don't know, elevated, I guess. But
I mean, if I'm gonna vacation on the Cape, it's not gonna be Hyannisport. I'm not gonna vacation where the Kennedys live. How crazy is that?
I don't know what to say because you're right. We're not going there. If we can afford to vacation in Cape Cod, we're probably not going there.
Yeah.
So
they have it all to themselves.
They would have it all to themselves. Okay, so. What else you got? Oh, we have a special announcement. We've been on another person's podcast.
But wait, hold on. The biggest question.
What's the biggest question?
Could you live there?
Oh, I thought the biggest question was how many black people are there? Y'all forget about that one.
0.
All right, answer this
0.
I saw one black person at
You
the gym.
did not. You're lying.
At the gym, I did.
Oh, was he
Did
working
he work there?
Body strong
You
fitness.
and I think alike.
Body strong fitness.
And was he working there?
No, he's a high school kid, so he was working out with his friends.
Oh, man.
It's probably, I mean, let's face it, in that area, he's probably the star athlete. So, you know.
I was going to say, does he even know he's black?
It's like, everybody's like, no, leave him alone.
Yeah.
You could be right, Phil. He probably doesn't even know.
No.
So, yeah. So, could you live there?
Of course I could live there. I can't afford to live there, though. So I think it was, I don't know. Now that I think about it.
Come on. You say this to every place.
It's
Stop
a little remote. I could live there 20 years from now.
If you had
But
20,
I can't live there now because I got there are too many things. Like you want activities on the weekend and stuff. It just seems it's a really slow pace there.
if you had $20 million,
$20 million.
would you buy a house there?
Probably not. No, I would choose somewhere else.
All right.
You had to spend on a house, though? 20 million? You can't spend on other stuff?
I'm not telling you to split it. It's $20 million for a home.
Damn.
Where would you go?
I can't buy 2 homes?
One home, Phil. Play the game.
Phil, you should be happy with $20 million.
Yeah, but if
One home. Play the game.
this is like the movie with Eddie Murphy or
wants
whatever.
options.
Brewster's Millions. Or I have to spend it all in one day?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I would probably pick Orlando.
Stop it. Orlando's out. You live here. Go someplace
But it's
else.
Okay.
I'm giving you $20 million.
$20 million, you could live in Windermere.
Yeah.
I
You could
want
join
him
the
out of.
Freemasons.
I want him out of Orlando.
So I can't say like Miami.
Get out of Florida.
Damn. Does that have to be one of the places you guys have gone?
No,
No.
I just want you out of Florida.
Because like the vampire house y'all went to up in Guilford looked pretty cool.
Oh, you could do that for
It
$20
was
million.
cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'd get a really
You
nice
could do
house
that
there.
for $20 million.
Yeah.
You have some left over.
Or
You go to the
there are
orchard.
some places in Tennessee that I looked up to that look pretty cool.
You would get you'd buy a whole town for $20 million in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You could buy a little town in.
Or Texas. There's some
Yeah.
there's some border towns that have really giant houses.
Border of Mexico.
Yeah. That
You don't want to do that, do you?
I'm not afraid of the cartel. I don't do drugs.
All right.
I stayed at their hotels.
All right.
You could be a launderer.
Yeah.
No, we're not. He runs a legitimate business. No, he's not going to be a launderer.
Exactly.
No, stop it.
Now my other two businesses.
You've watched. What's that show? The
Ozark.
Ozarks for too long. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The Ozarks.
There's some border towns in Texas that have really big houses. They're like $300,000, and they're like here they'd be like $700,000.
Okay, I'm giving you $20 million. You're going to spend more than $700,000.
Okay. Jeez. I want to go to LA, but they're all over 20 million, aren't they?
No, you can get a house
No.
in LA for
Yeah, you
$20
can find a
million. You
great
can do it
house.
on the beach. Like you can't do Malibu. That's too little.
Probably LA or San Diego.
Okay, San Diego for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
pick San Diego.
Okay, San Diego.
That would be my advice too.
So, okay, yes, we do
Could
have.
you live there?
No, not at all. It's too quiet. It's too quiet. There's nothing to do on the off season. Nothing's open. No, that is not. I stomp my feet when I can't get a good sandwich or go to like the grocery store past 7. No,
Yeah.
So yeah, too difficult for me. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Even if I had $20 million, though, I wouldn't live there. It's just too quiet.
It was kind of perfect for what we needed at the time we were there.
It was
It felt like a
absolutely.
vacation.
It did.
Yeah.
When I go travel with you guys, we need to have a game. Just let me go walk down the street and see how long it takes for the police to come.
Oh,
And then that can
Phil.
be your gauge if y'all are going to move there or not.
That's a terrible game.
But hey, it's something to talk about.
It is accurate. It is accurate. A terrible game, but accurate.
I smell a spinoff.
Oh, I do too. So no, it's not going to be any more like, can we live here? It's like, can Phil live
Phil
here?
live
And
here?
then we can decide if we can live there, right? If Phil doesn't get pulled over by the police, we can live there. That's our
right.
barometer.
And it agrees with our sentiments. So. Anyway, okay. So
sorry.
I started to mention
Yeah.
that we were on somebody else's podcast
Yes,
recently. Do you
we
wanna-
were.
It's a premiere announcement.
It is a
I
premiere
don't think that's
announcement.
really a term.
What would it be
Premiere
then? Is
announcement.
premiere announcement? Is that
We're
like?
not premiering
Are they the
it.
same? Is that like the two words that
I
are?
think I just made that up.
Sounds like you did.
I did.
So it's just an announcement. Oh, what's
It's a very special announcement.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to be guests. We were guests on a podcast called This Travel Tribe. Try saying that 3 times really fast.
I will not. Go ahead.
The host of that show is Lisa Andrews, and her podcast is great. It's all about inspiring people, families, to get out there and just travel. And some of her shows are about like how to do it more economically. Others are complete wanderlust, like places you've never heard of. And she's such a great host. We were really, really fortunate. And she had us on and just really wanted to know about our journey, what made us sell everything we did in LA and hit the open road, and why, what makes some cities better than others, why we like the places we like. It was a fun conversation. So, so we were on her podcast.
It was a fun conversation. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I think that the Skip Towners already know about us that we talked about on the show, but there were some new questions she had too. Opened up the conversation a little more, made us think of a couple things we hadn't thought of before.
Yeah.
I was happy. I was actually not happy that she didn't ask us about how it is driving together as a couple.
Why? We drive great together. What are you talking about? Like we drive really good together.
We do drive good together, but it's 2 distinctly different things happening when you're driving versus when I'm driving.
What?
When I'm driving, everybody knows you don't give me snacks, or you'll be on the phone for 2 hours talking about some intense conversation. I can't even ask you for water or snacks or anything. Like, you're not the best wingman. I think we've established that.
Oh, are you telling me about me right now?
I am telling you about you right now. But I
think I'm a really good wingman. Okay, go ahead. When you're driving, it is my time. I don't understand it. When you are driving, let me finish my sentence.
Okay.
Do not.
Go
I
ahead.
want to finish my sentence.
No, I'm gonna give you all the rope you need. Go.
When it's my time, when I'm sitting in that chair and you're driving, it is my time to like catch up on emails, check DMs, call people back, schedule hotels. Like that's like I'm sitting there, I'm doing me stuff. So I do still, when you ask for snacks, I still get you snacks. I don't maybe do it as quickly as you want, like right then, because I'm in the middle of something.
All right, well, let's talk about when I'm in the passenger seat.
Mm-hmm.
It is still you time, because
what do you mean?
I become your little personal assistant, and I'm supposed to be sleeping or resting for my next leg of the drive. No, what am I doing? I'm returning your emails from your phone pretending I'm you. I'm returning texts. I'm posting stuff on Instagram. I'm doing all the things that I don't like to do, namely just being on your phone, handling your business. So you don't like the song. I got to find a different playlist. You need water. Your water, you left it on the other side of the car. It's like, hey, when you wake up, can you give me that water? Like, I'm never sleeping. So I'm always doing stuff for you.
There might be a tiny bit of truth to that. I've only made you voice dictate text messages a couple of times for me.
There are so many times people, personal, professional, listeners, doesn't matter, are actually hearing from me rather than hearing from you, because I'm pretending to be you because you're forcing me to do your job while you're driving. And like, I'm just going to say, I'm a little exasperated.
You're getting all worked up over this. You're getting all worked up over this.
I am getting all worked up over this. It should be like my time to rest.
Let me hear it.
And when we're leaving a place, like if we stop to eat, Phil, and I've been driving for a while, and it should be her time to drive, sometimes I still run to the driver's side of the car because I know, like, how some people fight over shotgun? Mm-hmm. I fight over the driver's seat because I know at least then all I have to do is drive and listen to the radio. I don't have to do any of Denise's bidding.
I always wonder why you want to drive so much. I swear to God. I'm like, people ask me all the time, who does most of the driving? And I'm like, oh, James does. And I swear, and my response is always because he likes to. He likes to.
Well, I think we just learned something today.
Yeah.
He doesn't like being my assistant so much that he'd rather drive. Yeah.
She did, like, if I'm returning a text, she'll be like, okay, just tell so-and-so I said thank you or whatever. I'm like, hey, thanks.
Doesn't
And she's like,
you don't have Apple thing in your car? You can just do that yourself.
It's not clear though.
Just hit the button.
I do have it, but when I dictate
first off,
it,
she sends epic texts.
Do you
to
mumble
people.
mouth?
what's mobile mouth?
Mumble mouth.
No.
I
She
don't
doesn't
think
do
I
that.
mumble mouth, but
She
you
ramble
had.
mouths. It's like her texts are like 7
He's
paragraphs.
not saying that, and that's not what I'm saying. Hold on. Have you ever tried doing it in the car?
Yeah.
Does it come through clear on your phone?
Yes.
Exactly how you said it?
Because I have a radio voice.
Oh.
And I took speech classes, so
But
I
that's
know
my
that I'm talking
point.
to.
She
Okay.
does too, but her texts
Mine don't
are
come out
so
clear.
long, and Siri gets tired of transcribing what she's saying that the words start getting all jumbled and everything, and then I got to go back and fix them. Or if she says just tell Lori I said hey thanks and we'll see you next week or whatever. I type it out and like, hey, thanks, see you next week. No, I would not say it that way. You have to retype it. Retype it. And then I got to go back, delete. It's a mess, man. I'm like, done.
I
So,
think I talk too fast for maybe the
definitely talk
text
too fast
thing
for
in the
Siri.
car. So maybe I'll slow down and try it. So that will be one less thing you have to do in the passenger seat.
I'm just going to drive.
Okay, so I do recall a story, and then we're gonna end the show. But I do have to. I mean, since you're saying this, I've got to tell everyone the story, including Phil, because it's a good one. It was just on our most recent trip. So you were in the passenger seat. I started driving because James seriously needed to sleep. He had been up for hours, and we had just started our trip to. I don't even know where we were going. I don't remember. But
We're headed to Connecticut.
okay, but
I already know where this story's going.
were we headed to Connecticut?
Yeah, we were. 'Cause
Okay.
We
Are
were,
you sure?
We
I
were
don't think
approaching
so.
New Jersey, and it made me realize, we got a toll ticket
Okay.
from New Jersey.
But you needed sleep. So I took over the driving, and I said to him, you're right, it was Connecticut, because those were long drives that we don't normally do. And James had already driven for like 8-9 hours. And I was like, all right, you need a rest. So he went in the passenger seat. I was not going to ask him for a single thing because I knew he needed to close his eyes. So he's laying there for only like maybe 30 minutes, right? He wakes up and he says, I need to deal with this ticket. I need to deal with this ticket. And what it was we got a notification or something that we went through a toll, and we have one of those.
Easy pass.
Yes, but they wanted us to pay it online, and I didn't get a chance to pay it before, whatever the case may be. So he asked me, now mind you, he's had no sleep, and he asks me as he's sitting in the passenger seat, do you have this piece of paper? Well, the car is to the roof of luggage and camera equipment, everything else. I'm like, maybe like somewhere, but I don't have it with me right now. I'm driving. So he's like, well, I'm just going to call the New Jersey toll and I'm going to take care of this ticket. Otherwise, we're going to get fined. It's going to be double, triple, whatever. In LA, okay, we have PTSD. In Los Angeles, if you went through a toll and didn't have one of those passes, you did not get a letter in the mail. You had to on your own reconnaissance.
Oh, yeah, in Orange County.
Yeah, you had to on your own. You had 5 days to go to a website and pay that $3 ticket. And if you didn't do it in 5 days, it turned into a $100 ticket.
But how did you know? If you don't know, you don't know.
And you get a $100 fine. And we got probably 4 of those.
But how would you even know you even ran it?
There's signs before you get the toll, and then there's signs after you exit the toll that says, go on this website.
Yeah, but they set it up so that they don't post it. So if you check it that night or the next day, it's not there yet. And then within
do it on
2 or
purpose.
3 days, you've forgotten about it.
And there's no arguing it.
And
There's
within
no
5
arguing
days, it doubles, and then
$100.
It'll go from 7 to 14 right quick, and then
I've never seen it at
it'll
14.
go. I have.
Never.
Oh, I've paid them, so I know. And so
I've paid
and then
$100 every time.
I'm warming up to that. Thank you.
My story, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. You just hijacked
They'll
it.
be like $100 or whatever. And then if, for whatever reason you throw the mail out or what have you, like within 2 months, you're paying $200 or $300 for just traveling on that road.
Wow.
It's happened to us. Like it's legitimately happened to us. I've paid in my own life of living in LA, I paid 4 of those. And I know you've paid at least one. So we've paid $500 in fines for a $2.50 toll. So
oh my gosh.
it's insane.
What?
It's a racket. It is a full-on racket.
All to get to club volleyball.
It's like they here in Florida, though, that you can't even renew your tags if you don't pay your tolls. Like if you let your tolls lapse and stuff like that, you can't renew your tags, on your birthday.
Right.
And then if you don't do that, after that, they'll leave a gator on your doorstep.
They'll leave what on your doorstep? A gator?
On your doorstep.
I think it's a good idea to like make a person pay their fines before they get their tags, but Florida doesn't, I don't think, punish you and turn your $2.50 toll into $100 in 30 days.
It's pretty unconstitutional, I must say.
I'm surprised that a lawyer in LA hasn't fought that yet.
They fought other things like the parking tickets and all that.
So anyway, so James is in the passenger seat. We both have PTSD over these fines from LA. So he's like, I need to pay this. I need to pay this. Well, I'm driving, so I don't have the piece of paper that tells like the ticket number on it, because that's what you need. You need the ticket number. So he calls.
When you go to the website, you can't just put in your license plate or your last name or anything like that. There's no identifying information other than the ticket number that they've assigned you. So that's a very important part of this story.
So
that's why I needed the paper out of the fully packed back seat. Go ahead.
But then you decided, in your not having sleep for like hours and hours and hours, you were going to call the New Jersey Toll Road hotline,
piece of my mind,
and ask them if you could pay over the phone with a credit card. So
Correct.
you knew the rules going in, but you thought you were going to be able to somehow get around them. Okay, so cut to, he got some girl on the phone who was like, yeah, sorry, you don't have the ticket number. And he had waited 45 minutes for her to answer his call. So he had been on hold for 45 minutes, gets her on the phone, and she's like, where's your ticket number? And he's like, I don't have it. She's like, well, I can't help you. And then he's like, well, can you look up my last name? Can you do this? Can you do that? And
no, let me. I just want to. I want to be specific about the inciting incident.
I want you to go.
So
you say
45 minutes on the phone. She's tapping keys. She's trying to. She made me feel like she was trying to look up my license plate number. After about 5-10 minutes back and forth with her, she's like, "Yeah, no, I don't have that," and the system's down anyway.
Yes.
And
so then,
like, how is the system down? I hear you pressing keys.
So he has had no sleep, and James is not normally like this, but he starts screaming. Like, I've never heard him scream at a person.
Oh my gosh.
I've never heard him scream at a worker.
It was really out of
He
character.
starts screaming that she wasted his time. And, you're not even working. Like, I don't know. Like, he was just screaming. I was like, oh my, this poor woman. So then she
wasn't even phased.
She put you on mute.
Yeah, I mean.
So, it's a New Jersey girl who's like, okay, next. Because she's like, I'm done with you. She literally was like, okay, crazy man, I'm done with you. Mm-hmm. And so she basically hung up on you, right? So he's in his seat. He has a seatbelt hooked on his seat. I wish you were watching it. If you're listening, I'm going to try to describe it. He is trying to turn around to see if this piece of paper with the number of the ticket is in my computer bag, which is
directly behind my chair.
Right, behind the passenger chair, right? So James is a big boy. Everyone has seen him on camera. He's in this little seat with a seatbelt trying to do a yoga move to get the computer bag from behind his own seat. It's not working. It's like put a gorilla in that seat and try to get them to do it. It's not working. He can't grab it. Then he turns to the other side, which is the door side, thinking he could reach it. I don't know what the heck you were thinking from there, right? He starts screaming at the top of his lungs.
I look like a T-Rex trying to pick apples.
Oh my gosh.
He starts screaming at the top of his lungs. You better find this form. You better find this form. Or you're dead. And so then I'm driving, right? And I'm like,
it's a very 80s thing to say. They didn't say that your age, your kids your age did not say, if I catch you on the street, you're dead. They didn't say any of that, did they?
No.
Yeah.
So then he screams, you're dead. And so I'm driving. I know he's like insane right now because he has had no sleep. And so I just I start laughing, but like I'm trying not to laugh. But
it only makes me madder.
Oh no!
I look at him and I go, dead? Like, and I'm driving. So as I'm driving, I look at him, I go, dead? Like I'm dead to you? Because there's a phrase, like, you're dead to me. Like, you're dead to me. I'm like I'm dead to you, or like dead. And he goes, dead.
That's the voice that she always uses when she imitates me. I suddenly go up like 8 octaves.
That's hilarious. I have to see that version of
And
you.
so then I go, I think you need to close your eyes.
Oh my God.
And so I have been saying now, subsequently, since that incident, when like we're together, I'll just go, Dad, like out of nowhere. Like we'll be at the grocery store
like
and I'll
her
be like,
thing now.
Dad.
It's like it's taken on a whole life of its own.
That's funny.
Well, he's never said that to me ever. You're dead.
Did you ever find the slip?
Yeah, it was in my computer bag.
I was going to say the epilogue of the story is we made it to Connecticut and I paid the $8 fine the next day.
It was in my computer
Online.
bag.
She had the paper in her bag.
You know, but before we go though, the best customer service voices are the Southern Big Black Mamas.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh my
They
gosh.
have-
One lady.
Do it.
I'm not a Southern Big Black Mama, but you know they
Do you
call
know the voice?
They call
When
you
they-
sugar.
Yeah, but I'm
Oh,
not.
Oh, sugar.
oh,
Oh,
that-
baby.
Yeah.
Oh, honey.
Yep.
Yeah.
One lady from AT&T helped me with a phone issue once, and
Yeah.
you could tell she was from the South. She was older and she was black.
Yeah.
And I could only imagine
They have to be heavy too.
that she knew her way around a peach cobbler.
Like you can hear the cholesterol in their voice.
Yes,
a little bit.
exactly,
Like, it was
exactly.
like, oh,
and
man.
she was the nicest lady. It was one of the best exchanges
Those are the
I've
best
ever had
customer
on the
service
phone.
voices. Best customer service. I think all 911 operators need to be Southern Big Black Mamas.
'cause they're
Oh, I
soothing.
think so. You're right. 911 operators, they should be, because they're like, honey, give me that address again.
Yeah.
And then, you're screaming, he's in the house. He's in the house. She's like, okay, we're going to take care of him. Just tell me, where are you living? Where do you live? Uh-huh.
The lady I had from New Jersey was not Southern. She was like the type of girl that had throat punched 4 people on the way to work that morning.
She couldn't be bothered with him.
She was working from home. That's why.
She probably was.
And she wasn't tapping her nails on the keys. She was tapping her nails on the kitchen table. Like, please, can we just end this conversation?
Yeah. It was like those sexy phone lines or whatever, but she's like working for the Department of Transportation.
And she wasn't sexy.
She was faking it, yeah.
Yeah, she was faking
Totally
it.
faking it. So anyway, wow. That's a lot of info in all one episode.
Empty nest, full tank.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.